So it's interesting. I was also looking at the set of interviews you had on the channel, and
what'd you find out?
Well, there's just some interesting people that, like, I don't have time. Like, so I love that you're doing these interviews, but I haven't had a chance to listen to any of them. So, like, even when it's like Aaron Giles, somebody who I know really well, a coworker, I'd be really interested in. Haven't had a chance. But then, like, you had Steve Purcell, and you had, Kyle Balda, and like, interesting.
Yeah, I had Steve Purcell, and we had a 4-hour conversation.
Oh my god.
Then we had what else? And with Aaron Giles, I interviewed him twice. Once it was an interview, and the other was a showcase of Dream, his emulator.
Right.
And then after that, not after that. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna interview him again about the recent changes in his emulator.
Nice. Man, that guy's got emulation in his blood. He can't help but emulate things. If you tried to stop him from emulating, he'll find a way.
Exactly.
What was really sad? When I left to go to PlayStation, and he went to go to, was it Connectix or?
Yeah.
Yeah, Connectix did Virtual Game Station. And so he was doing the PlayStation emulator, and as you know, there was a huge lawsuit over it, and he was dragged into court a lot, and I felt so bad, because we went from working in the same office to being on the opposite sides of this line, and it was just terrible because I knew, he just loves emulation, and he was just doing awesome tech that made him happy. And
you could have given him inside information.
I didn't have any at that point, but yeah, no, I got a taste of it later. There was the GeoHot settlement. I got dragged into that, so I was on court documents and shit. It's no good. You just want to make cool stuff. You don't want to be in court.
True. Yeah, let me close a few programs here.
Yeah. I was gonna say, for Kyle Balda, did he? Did you do the interview with Kyle Balda, or was that someone else?
No, I did the interview with Kyle Balda.
So Kyle had left LucasArts by the time I rejoined, but he was at ILM. And did he mention his connection to Grim Fandango?
Oh, you know what? Let's talk about that. But only after the timer is done, because we have like 8 seconds.
All right. Okay. I'll keep some stories in reserve.
Okay. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Text Play, in which we play games with people I've interviewed in the past, and we can confront them about their various design choices. I'm looking at you, Bret. And
I'm ready.
And we can ask them the questions that I forgot to ask them during the 4-hour interview I had with them. So that's a great chance. I like it when things aren't as definitive, because I always want to believe that my interviews are the definitive version of the interview with that person, but there are always questions that I forget to ask, and I always feel bad.
4 hours. I've lived a lot longer than 4 hours, so Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start off by thanking our Patreon members with shout out to Craig Gilman, who joined us recently, and he sent me an email to add to Phantasmagoria, so we're going to have that added soon. And we have our $10 members and $20 members and the top tier. And special thank you to our top 7 in the last 30 days of coffee members: Trex, Girlfan, Compuart, Moffat Reborn, Ozzy Astaroth, Whitey Wanderer, and EP La Zombie. That's it. I have nothing. So I hope that you guys can join on YouTube, because we've been recently having problems with the YouTube streaming for some reason, because we stream using Restream, and that streams over YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So I'm seeing the numbers pretty consistent, so I hope there aren't any issues. But let me know if there are in the chat. And without further ado, I want to welcome Bret Mogilefsky. Bret, what up?
It's me.
I can't
I'm
believe it's
here.
you.
It's
We
me.
just talked like a couple of months ago.
We did, and it was a great interview.
Mhm.
That was definitely the most thorough interview I've ever had on the game, and I was excited to watch people play it on YouTube. It was fun.
Yeah, and in the countdown we talked about Kyle Balda. You know, in my interview with him, I asked him about his connection to Grim Fandango because at that time he wasn't at LucasArts. You know, he was an intern at LucasArts and he worked on the intro of Day of the Tentacle, and that's it. And so afterwards, he went to work for ILM, and then I saw in the credits that he did work on Grim Fandango, like additional animators or whatever. And I asked him about it, and he didn't even remember that he worked on that. And then we started theorizing why he worked on that. So I figured that since at that time people at LucasArts were more 2D inclined, so they were 2D animators and there weren't that many 3D animators. So I thought that since he worked on 3D at ILM and at the time, you know, on the computer generated movies that he worked on, then I figured that you invited him back because he had some 3D knowledge. But according to your facial expression, that's incorrect.
No, you're very close, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great inference. So for Grim Fandango, we were it was our first kind of, there were several different 3D efforts going on at LucasArts at the same time. There was Shadows of the Empire, there was, a couple other things, Jedi Knight. And we didn't really know what we were doing. And in particular, for Grim Fandango, we were using this program called Softimage as our 3D package. There was 3ds Max, there was Softimage, and there was a couple others. But we were using Softimage with this special renderer called Mental Ray, which did really good lights and shadows, which is part of where the look of the game comes from.
Mhm.
And we weren't very good at it. And so we reached out because Kyle was using Softimage a lot at ILM. And so the connection is that Kyle trained a lot of the background artists and animators to use Softimage. They did like a crash course with him for a couple days. So he didn't I can't say he actually put an asset in the game, but he was instrumental in enabling us to actually make the game. And we had certain artists who were in that session who went on to great things in 3D, even though they had never worked in 3D before. So he was sort of their first entry into this tool set and this way of thinking about how you set up a scene, how you animate, things like that.
And it's weird that he forgot about it because it seems like he was a crucial part in at least the pre-production of the game.
He might not have appreciated the impact he had, and it might have only been a day or two throw off for him. Like, oh yeah, some guys came over to ILM. He might not have really understood that they were all the Grim Fandango team. I think Tim Schafer and Pete Sakel were the ones who knew him, and they were the ones who set it up. So I think he would have understood, but I guess we just didn't mean that much to him.
80 Machine writes in the chat some very tragic news related to that. The founder of Softimage was murdered in the Dominican.
Oh my God.
Dominican Republic? Wait, I think
wow.
Wow.
I thought I said something about him dying, but I didn't know he was murdered. Jeez.
In Dominica recently. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay.
We're also, there's a whole lives that span out from this time, and everybody ends up at a different spot. It's terrible, and glorious too at the same time. All right, here we are.
Here we are, and we're going to continue playing Grim Fandango from where Paul and I left off, and hopefully we'll know what to do next. But according to our conversation prior to the live stream, it seems like we'll be stuck for a while.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I was telling you before, for the benefit of all the ships at sea. I didn't play year 3 and year 4 really. I debugged year 3 and 4, but I never really
never.
Played them. I never played them solid all the way through because by the point we made the game into sort of very linear way. We kind of, not at all how people make games today.
Mhm.
Games today would be like you'd sketch out the whole thing and then flesh it in, right? No, we didn't do that. We made everything at top quality start and kind of crawled along until we made to the finish. And so by the time we were working on year 3 and 4 and the artists were going full bore on that, I was just like, we'd done year 2, which is very intensive on the engine in terms of everything that it can do. And I was now in the point of like optimizing the engine and like debugging things that were going wrong and adding some missing things for the scripters. I was not at all in the sort of, play the game mode, which is strange for me also because I used to be a tester. And so I my view of the game at that point in time during the production was through the bug database. Here's a bug, I need to go reproduce it. So enter jump code to go to the room where the bug is, and then try and reproduce it from what somebody documented, and then figure out what was wrong.
Wait, but you eventually played the game all the way through?
No.
Never?
Never. I've never played the game start to finish. So this is, you see, I'm turning beet red right now, and yeah, it's a strange thing to say, but you got to remember when we finished the game, we were burnt, and when I walked away from the gold ship date, I never wanted to see the game again, right? I mean, it was not something where I like lovingly went home and was like, all right, I've just spent 3 years slaving on this game, I'm just going to play it start to finish. No, it wasn't like that. It was I hope it does well, and I hope I can recover. So
I mean, I brought you in to help us finish the game, but it seems
well. I'm gonna play it like I get to encounter my own stupid puzzles now as a noob. I mean, I remember certain puzzles. I remember the guy on the unicycle, and I remember the flower sifter puzzle, which I think we thought was genius, but everybody hates. And I remember where there were bugs that I fixed. So like I know about the conveyor thing in year 3, the big machine, but it's kind of all it's like pieces out of a dream. It's all kind of disconnected. I never played it all the way through.
even though I'm surprised that you didn't play the game all the way through. Other guests have not played their games all the way through, so it's totally fine. The producer of Return to Monkey Island hasn't played Return to Monkey Island all the way through, and Larry Ahern recently, I wanted to bring him in to play The Dig, because he didn't play that all the way through. He worked on the previous versions, but he never played the final version all the way through.
I think same thing. If you're burnt, I mean, think about how burnt that team was when they canceled that version, right? So maybe.
Yeah, but then again, you want to see what eventually shipped. I mean, you probably know how the game looked on paper, at least.
So, no, I remember all the design sessions, and I remember I have all the, I showed you I have all the material over here. I have all the storyboards and things, so I know what things are supposed to do. I haven't looked at it though because I was preparing to play and I wanted to go in cold. 30 years or 25 years. So.
And besides, this entire channel revolves around the fact that Paul hasn't played Phantasmagoria 2 until 3 years ago. So don't sweat it. You're doing great.
All right, I'll do my best. It'll be fun.
Okay.
To curse myself for these awful choices.
Okay. You've got controls.
Choices. I have controls. Okay, let's see. I do not have controls. I'm not able to move the cursor.
Okay. Then let me stop
control.
It says you can. You need to place the cursor on the. First of all, I think you need to resize the window with the gameplay itself, with the game itself.
I'm full screen right now. Let me try exiting that and see what happens. It says you can control Daniel Albu's screen at the top, but I'm not actually seeing the cursor move or anything.
If you place the cursor on the window.
Oh, you know what? I think I know what's wrong. There we go. Okay. How about that? Yes. Yes, I was too obsessed.
That's what TechSplay is all about. A bunch of tech people who know what to do.
Figuring out Zoom. Yeah. On the fly. All right. I'm going to play this game. Okay, so I kind of dipped in and out when Paul was playing, and I know that he was working on year 2, and I thought he had finished it, but clearly he hadn't because we're here in the blue casket. I want to say the end.
We hear you, Daddy.
By the way, I don't know if you caught it. The Double Fine posted the. I have to click. I started. You know. It's
Yeah,
funny, I
our
immediately
interview in the 25th anniversary article they did.
No. They also posted. There was a Grim Fandango 25th anniversary party.
I know,
in San
and
Francisco.
they posted photos, and I saw your photo. You had some skeleton makeup on you.
Oh my God! Did they post that too? Oh
Yeah.
jeez. Yeah,
And-
they have a pretty amazing face painter. She did a great job.
and they recently posted the 30 minutes of Peter McConnell's performance that evening.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Is the performance, which was great. It was really, really good. They did a great job. All right, I'm just running around now because I got to figure out where Paul was. So let's see. He, I guess I can probably guess from looking at the inventory. Is that how I open it? There we go. So the other thing I should mention is I haven't played the remaster at all. Like what the game I played was always the original game. All right, so that is for getting myself the metal detector. That's the kitty track. I know he was working on that puzzle. That's the blue casket to poison Naranja. That's the key that was in something that she blew up in the bomb thing, I think. I don't know what that is. What's that?
It's Lola's jacket.
Lola's jacket. Oh, very sad. Okay, I have the Seaman Naranjas. Oh no, I have the Union card for Glottis.
Mhm.
The CVs. There's the scythe. I keep it next to where my heart used to be. That is the kitty track
Dear
stuff?
friend, our movement now has true momentum.
Oh no, that's
and our numbers
yeah.
are rapidly growing.
Mhm.
Much of
That's
this
the
is due to our
message.
communications and intelligence systems,
How do I
both
cancel?
of which we owe to you. In light of your contributions, I would like to announce your I salute you.
So you
There we
can
go.
click the dot button. To...
Yep. So I do remember all the developer racing things because the reason the dot command is there is not for actually players; it's for the developers to skip through conversations quickly when we're reproducing a bug. Okay, so this looks pretty good. He's mostly through here. Let's see. I got to find my way to the docks.
And then it says in the chat, stream is an hour early. No, it was always advertised as 11 a.m. The text play live streams will probably start at 11 a.m. because for me, Sunday is a work day, so I can't stream that late. So that's why they start at 11 a.m. unlike our usual noon Pacific time start time in other days.
Where am I going? Is this the dock? I think I'm lost. Not surprised. Years 2 is a bit of a maze. Okay, that's Toto Santo. Let's see. How do I get to the docks? Might need your help with that since I wasn't watching the play that closely. Alright, so I can head up there.
So in one of our previous live streams, we saw how you handled the fact that you couldn't add that many characters per screen. So you had the location where there was an animation or a video playing of characters moving. I'm sorry they didn't use the same thing in Escape from Monkey Island because that would have solved a lot of issues.
Yeah, so this room is actually one of the most stressful rooms in the game on the engine. So we have the 2D background, which is all this stuff, and then we've rendered in all this water. And the water, everybody was like, "Ooh, Softimage makes cool water. Look at this awesome water plugin. This is beautiful. Oh, and we can do this nice watery area." And I remember we came to this room, and Peter Sakel, I told him we couldn't do it, and he looked at me like I'd killed his puppy, stumped a puppy. It was horrible. And so we eventually said, okay, we can animate the background.
Oh, what about these tools?
Oh, there we go.
Where
I
are they?
found my way to
They're
the
too big for
dock.
me to carry. Glottis will bring them when we board.
Looks like you're all ready to go, Manny, except one. Where's that piano player of yours?
He's having a little
All
goodbye
right.
party. I'll go get him.
Tell him to hurry up. The limbo can't sail without him. Don't just sit around here collecting barnacles.
Right.
Okay, so we are ready to go.
Yeah,
I
but
could
you
look
need to
for
get
them.
Glottis.
I need to get Glottis. Okay. Need to get him cut off. Anyway, this room. Yeah, so that is what's called a Smush animation. In the background, Smush was the video player for the Insane engine, which was used in Rebel Assault 2, Vince Lee, genius at the time. This is way ahead of what QuickTime could do. I talked to Apple. They were desperate for us to use QuickTime in this game. And apples to apples, this was much, much better than QuickTime at the time. So this scene stresses the hell out of the engine, at least on the hardware at the time. And so we had to be very careful. But yeah, so the notion that the engine has kind of a video playing and then the game in the background of all the water, and then the game kind of over the front of it is a big deal. Most of the other motion animations in the game are much smaller. They only occupy a small part of the screen. But this is a big one. All right, so let's see. We got to find Gladys. He's going to be at the High Roller Lounge. Where would that be? Can I get there from up here? I think I can go over here and then up the stairs, maybe?
During your game design meetings about Grim Fandango at the time, did you actually discuss the fact that maybe pixel hunting in 3D will be difficult for adventure game fans who were used to 2D pixel hunting?
Well, we knew we had to break some conventions, and so we weren't sure how much we could do and how much we couldn't. Tim was really... Does this open? Let's see. No, I can double click on it, but I can't go through. Let me figure out my way back up to the High Rollers Lounge here. Tim was really adamant that we not compromise too much because 3D, we didn't know what was right or wrong for 3D yet, and you know, that's where tank controls came in. And
no, we won't work!
Hell no, we won't work!
Bogan is a big fat jerk!
Bogan is a big fat...
Okay, so I can go up here. I think the High Rollers Lounge is up, I don't remember. Yeah, so I mean, you know, pixel hunting, we were more obsessed with the idea like you could have a top-down view of Manny without reanimating him, or you could change the camera on the fly and just, you know, have Softimage render out the backgrounds and, you know, be ready to go. So we were less thinking about that. Okay, there's the morgue. That's the custom station, I think. Go. Is that a place to go? No. Not through there. Oh. There we go. Okay. Oh, I hear the blimp. Kind of disappointed the blimp didn't have a bigger role. Yeah, we were obsessed with like views like this. Like, oh, we can have a little tiny Manny with a view from down below, and that's awesome. Look,
okay,
you know,
did you hear the little musical cue
yes,
of the secret
Waddle.
Weapons of the Luftwaffe?
Yes, and I was one of the early testers on secret weapons of the Luftwaffe. So this is another full circle moment for me. Is that I played that game to death. It was one of the first things I ever got paid to do in the game industry. All right.
So whose idea was it? Was it Peter McConnell's?
Oh, it's all the people on the music side. They're the ones who snuck those things in. I don't think we even knew. You got to understand the music department at LucasArts is run like an internal company inside the company. So like they had this special part of the studio that was kind of walled off and had its own reception and only one entrance and weren't to disturb them. And okay, so this is customs.
Yeah, I recently interviewed Melina Annabelle, and she served as a middlewoman, between the sound department and the rest of the company.
That's right. Yeah, it was really weird. But they were artistes, and they had their own way of doing things. Can I not get in here? I thought that's the High Roller Lounge, no?
Yeah.
Double clicking is not happening.
What is happening?
Oh, there goes. Oh, it's a fucking elevator bug. God damn it. Alright, so elevators in this game. Every time you have an automatically opening door like this, somebody bled for it. There's these little... I gotta shut up, Glottis. There's this little pad, this invisible pad.
Go!
You know what would have been awesome? I don't know if it works in the remaster. There were developer codes. You could stick something in the registry, and then it would give you all kinds of keybinds that you could enable in the live game. And I could show you what are called the walk boxes, which are walkable areas in the game. And there's a walk box in front of doors like this, anywhere there's an elevator, that is supposed to trigger the door and trigger Manny walking through it. And it's possible to run past it and then end up in a space where the door doesn't open, like we just did. I mean, we weren't running, but that was clearly the same bug.
Run!
Yeah, so that's how it's supposed to work, but what you saw is the bug in the live game, and
This is it!
we would
You
classify that
still
as a
have
C-
time to fix it, Brett.
Go!
We classify that as a C bug, which means people who see it probably don't realize it's a bug, but we know it's a bug.
Meow, baby!
Okay, so let's
That's
see.
a good
How do I
catch.
get Glottis cut off? Well, I gotta go
Come
cut off
on!
this credit.
Maybe I need to start another series, Text Debug, in which we look at the source code of the game and try to fix bugs that have been there for decades.
Well, it's funny you say that because I do have somewhere. I have all the Lua code for this game, which is like really the meat of it. I mean, the engine code is interesting because it's just technically interesting, but the actual game itself is all written in Lua, which is now very accessible. And if you read it, it's very readable because it was designed that way, that you're writing the game in sort of a very more like a directorial or screenwriting kind of way. Where are you taking me?
I'm just...
Taking Glottis down a notch?
You're doing
Yep.
it!
There we go, that helps. Alright,
Run!
where the hell is... Okay, Nick Virago would have been out here, Maximino is somewhere nearby, but I don't know where.
Go! Go! Go!
It's back here. That just takes me around the back, I think.
Pretty bad, pretty bad. Paws
Yeah.
in the air! Let's go!
Okay, and he already did the thing with the
Oh,
elevator
for
then.
crying out loud!
I assume. Yeah, I think I saw Paul messing with that. So he already did this part, right? The puzzle with the Pierre and getting in the elevator.
Yeah.
Done that already.
But I
Got that
eventually
already.
did the one with the forklift.
So the forklift is also one of the original bugs in the game, and that's part of why we had to have a patch for the game.
What's that?
There are lots of bugs in the game didn't show up because computers weren't fast enough to show them yet.
Oh, for crying
And then
out loud!
they weren't. Oh, that looks stairs up.
You can do it!
Oh, here we go. I can go talk to Claus.
Meow, baby! Open it up
shading
on the
eyes has beautiful.
straightaways,
How about
kitty!
that? That's one of the things they nailed on the remaster is the lighting.
You got it!
Mm-hmm.
Gonna
Meow, baby!
Oh. Speak.
Yeah!
Coming home soon?
What did you say, little kitty? Don't talk, kitty cat. Just run, baby! Come on!
So the inside of Glottis' mouth was also a big deal because it was like, we gotta show the inside of these characters.
Watch
Nobody
it,
planned for that.
buddy!
And you'll notice like we animate textures, but we also animated head shapes. And so Glottis is one of those sort of the profile of his head changes a lot when he speaks. Kind of a mess. Manny less so. Oh, look at that! Look at that lighting.
Yeah,
from the cigarette.
yeah.
Oh my god,
Oh.
that's so good.
Although it doesn't make sense. Cigarette doesn't make that much light.
It's still cool though. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So Glottis doesn't want to talk to me. Maybe I can give him something.
You're
see.
doing it!
Does he want the Union card?
Open it up on the straightaways, kitty!
Okay, so select that.
You got it!
I'll give it to
I'm not using my union card for anything but getting on that boat.
Let's go!
It's not yours, Manny. It's Glottis's.
What's that?
Okay. I think I remember. He has to lose his credit, and the way he loses his credit is that I have to lose the club, and the way I lose the club is to get it shut down by pissing off Bogan. Does that sound familiar? Is that something Paul already did?
No, he didn't do it.
What's that?
You need to do it.
Okay. All right, so I need to do it. I'm in the wrong spot.
Go,
See, it's all coming back to me
kitty!
now. I
Okay.
didn't remember the names of the characters.
Go! Go!
Chief Bogan,
go!
named after Dave Bogan, one of the animators, by the way.
Yeah, and it's really impressive that it's coming back to you, given that we're on a live stream with millions of people
yeah.
watching.
Millions.
Yeah.
Millions. Okay, I think I'm headed toward the club. Let's see. Let's find out. One of the things I thought they would add with the mouse controls was double clicking on an exit to jump to it,
Yeah.
but that might have been kind of complex. Oh, I was gonna say when you said you had Larry on. I was gonna say Larry. I would have had him play Curse of Monkey Island.
Well, that was the plan. I didn't talk about it on stream, but now that you asked, I have to. Last
I'm sorry.
week I brought Bill Taylor to play Curse of Monkey Island with me, And
okay.
Larry Ahern was supposed to be one of the surprise guests during that live stream, because the idea was to have Bill Tiller on. But then when I talked to Larry a few days before the live stream, I found out that he caught COVID. So,
oh no. Oh, poor Larry.
So he canceled his appearance on our live stream. So I'll probably get Larry at a different time, and I'll play Curse of Monkey Island with him.
That's a good idea. Yeah, his art style, that game is all him. I think he said elsewhere this Lupe is based on Leslie Claro, the team's producer. Very, very good character modeling and voice and dialogue. The whole thing is very much like Leslie. Hi, Leslie, if you're watching. All right, so let's go check this out. Got my secret way to make people win or lose, because all casinos are crooked, as we know. Okay, so let's see. What do I need to do?
Leader, Noir Perrimanque, number 2.
Okay.
2 is the winner. Your chips, monsieur.
Thank you very much.
Mesdames et messieurs, faites vos jeux, s'il vous plaît. Ladies and gentlemen, please place your bets. Mesdames et messieurs, rien ne va plus. Ladies and gentlemen, betting is closed. No more bets, please.
Where is he? Oh, operate. What does operate do? Okay, so this is what it landed on. He's at that
Le
table.
numéro
so
gagnant, le 35, noir, entre et passe. 35, black.
Okay, so let's see. Can't click on individual squares.
Mesdames
I
et
seem to
messieurs,
recall that
faites vos jeux, s'il vous plaît.
his names are.
Ladies and gentlemen, please place
How do I
your
know what
bets.
his bet
Les
is?
jeux sont... Ladies and gentlemen, betting is closed. No more bets, please.
There we go. I got to lock it in. There we go. So now it's going to land on 24. But I don't remember.
Le numéro gagnant,
Oh,
le
oh, oh.
24, noir, Paris, 24.
Okay, so I'm
Mesdames
waiting
et
for him.
messieurs, faites vos
to go
jeux,
to
s'il vous plaît.
Bogan's
Ladies and
table.
gentlemen, please.
Sorry,
Mesdames et
don't be
messieurs,
rushing
rien ne va plus. Les jeux sont faits. Ladies and gentlemen,
go to
betting
the-
is closed. No more bets, please.
Okay, yeah. I'll just keep pressing it. There we go. All right.
14. 14
What?
is the winner. Le 14. Numéro 14 est le gagnant.
I think you mean 2. Am I correct?
No, monsieur. 14 is the winner.
Fingers
I
in this
think
game.
you've made a mistake.
I'm sorry, sir. 14 is the winning number. Better luck next time, eh?
That does it. That Calavera's getting too big for his britches. I don't like raiding businesses and shutting them down. But someone's got to teach Manuel a lesson in law and order.
Law and order.
This way.
Law and
Manuel. Open those paddy wagons up and start filling them.
It's all
And
Casablanca.
somebody find Calavera. I want to interrogate him personally.
Raided?
Oh,
How long are they
yeah.
gonna close it for? Huh? Yeah, you better cut off the big guy's credit then. Yeah. Throw the drunk out on his big orange butt. And bring me Calavera so we can talk about his debt.
Hey, come on! You
There we
gotta
go.
let me back in! I'm a VIP!
Does that
Love
stand
that
for
line.
very inebriated pianist?
Manny, I don't want to be a pianist anymore. I'm a mechanic.
I know. That's why I
Blue-
got
you
you a
notice the
new
blue
job.
fringe
Come
around his
on, let's go
teeth?
pick up your tools.
I think developers notice, but nobody else notices. So the transparent color for
I
textures
can
is
do whatever I want to the engine. Make
magenta.
it faster.
Sure, but you'll be plenty busy just keeping her afloat.
Thanks for the gig. And for not asking too many questions.
Hell, after what happened in Naranja, I can see why you...
You know, the thing about 3D games that consistently happens is the fact that when the game is released, the cutscenes, in case they are pre-recorded, look better than the gameplay itself, because graphic cards at the time cannot handle the same complexity
Yes.
as the cutscenes. But then
Yes.
decades later, the cutscenes always look less crisp or not as sharp as the rest of the game because graphics card are.
Mushed. Yeah, the video is mushed. It doesn't have the same resolution. Oh god, I love that. You're obsessed with the blowers on the
and the reflections.
Yeah, that's all mental, right? Yeah, the flickering. Oh god, so good. I got a lot to say about this whole scene.
So please do.
Captain.
I gotta listen to the dialogue.
Puerto Zapato, sailor. We're here at last. Beautiful port, isn't she?
Yes, sir. Well, there's some customs officials down below, sir. They want to search the ship.
Fine, fine. We've got nothing to hide, eh? No skeletons in our closet.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you notice Manny's tongue, various other characters have a tongue.
Boys, like a rock this time.
Manuel,
When he opens his teeth, you can actually see his tongue.
I hope this
And it's
very
like,
urgent
wait,
message gets to
there's
you
no
in time.
phone, so
Our man in
where's the
Zapato
tongue come
says
from?
Miss Colomar never made it to the port. It said she threw herself overboard at the Pearl. I don't know if you believe that. Whatever you do, do not land in Puerto Zapato. It's a trap. Assassins will attempt to board your ship disguised as customs agents. Beware.
I love the pitches.
Viva la revolución!
So good. All right.
Yeah, we got the year 2 achievement.
Yeah. So things to say about this. First of all, the idea that every year Manny kind of starts out, swabbing a deck or whatever, or starts out sweeping up with a broom, and the cut to a year later, Manny's in charge of everything. You might like to think that's because Manny's just sort of a natural leader and he always ends up in charge, but really it's because Manny is incredibly underhanded and he sabotages everyone else. It's been the entire spirit of the game so far. Manny's he's not great for people. Manny, and he's probably gonna mess with your shit, and then he ends up on top.
Ensign.
Oh, they're already sprouted. No. I gotta get down to the engine room.
No.
No. Okay, getting feet to match on stairways and ladders. Game developer nightmare.
Yeah, we saw that in Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine a year later as well.
This can't be happening.
Hey, he's back here.
Sack him!
Yoink. I love what a sailor outfit.
Custom officials, open this door!
Alright, this puzzle I very clearly remember.
Don't worry,
I'm not going to
Captain.
stand
We're
on it
safe
because
in
Tim might
here.
get mad, but I'm
Okay,
pretty
let's just set
sure
the
that this puzzle was
explosives
all
and
my
get
idea.
the hell out of here.
And maybe people hate it and they can hate me, but I'm going to take credit for this puzzle. So this puzzle I remember very clearly. I said I didn't play year 3, but I do remember designing this puzzle. Oh, I was going to finish what I was saying about Glottis's mouth. So Glottis, you'll notice he has purple teeth a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in cutscenes. The reason is that his texture, the transparent color on the texture for his mouth, is bright magenta. And in a lot of these rendered scenes, it does anti-aliasing. And because of that, it blurs what should be a very crisp edge for what's transparent and what's not. It strays away from the magenta color in that channel, and then you see it as a fringe around.
So it's very similar to how chroma key works. The fact that you sometimes see the blue outline.
Absolutely. So in LucasArts game, it was magenta or fuchsia. We all called it fuchsia, the bright purple color that was like nobody will ever use this in a game. So
it was also in Scum.
Yes, yeah, that was a carryover from Scum. No, it's just in all games. So, Afterlife, anything. It's always fuchsia. Okay, so I remember this. So I gotta pull up the anchor. Let's see. I know I have to unzip the back of the ship, and I know it has to do with raising and lowering the anchors and using the engines to move around. So let's see. How do I get away from there? There we go. Use this. And let's try going up. Oh, yeah. Okay, that doesn't seem to do anything. But did I have a button to raise anchors? No. No good. Can't go back because we're anchored. But I should be able to move right. Okay, that doesn't. Oh, wait, something happened there. There we go. Okay. Now we got it. So now I got to walk over here. Oops. exit for some reason. Okay, so I gotta go look out. No, I gotta go raise the anchor. How did Manny reach that? I didn't think he could reach that. Okay. Alright, so now my scythe will be next to where my heart used to be. Alright. I'll use it with that. Alright? No, maybe not. There we go. Oh, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing it right. I remember now. But that was not a helpful animation. What is even happening with this anchor right now? It's floating against the ship. Alright, that wasn't right. I gotta move the ship and then drop that anchor on the other one, I think. Let's see.
You know, I always talk about the fact that LucasArts...
What? What is Manny doing over there? What is he doing, even?
Look at that bug.
Oh my god. I am not responsible for this. I'm 90% certain that's not in the original game.
I think we should submit it to Double Fine. This is...
yeah, I think so too. This
is unprofessional.
Inexcusable. Any bug that I see is, unless I deliberately claim it, it's definitely not mine. Okay, so that's right. So then we got to drop this anchor over here. So exit from wherever Manny thinks he is. Go over here. Drop that anchor on the right. And then I think we use this again. Oh my god. Who is responsible for this game?
Okay, we need a text debug episode as soon as possible. There are some pending issues with the game to be handled.
Okay, try going right. Okay, let's go left. So that works. Okay. And then let's see, what if I pick up this anchor? I will say this is a very... Oh, there we go. Oh, there may jump to the right place. This is a very unfriendly puzzle because you can't give up and try something else. It's one of those parts of the game where you're stuck unless you're smart enough to figure it out. I know that's not good. You don't have a single puzzle bottleneck if you can, but sometimes you have to for dramatic purposes. All right, let's pull that other anchor in here. Original.
No, I should have switched to the original when we saw that bug to see if it happens in the original.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it must, because I don't think that would be different. There we go. All right, now we're good.
Well, there you go.
There you go. You don't know what you're doing yet, because you have no idea why you're doing this. I don't know why somebody thought this was a good puzzle, but I liked it.
So I always talk about the fact that LucasArts Adventure Games taught me English.
Can't read.
I'm trying to remember if I learned the word scythe from this game or from loom.
Oh, interesting. Alright, how do I get out of
It's
here?
one of the two.
They're locked together like plastic monkeys from a barrel.
It is just like Barrel of Monkeys. Okay, but how do I exit the scene? I want to go... There we go, okay. Alright, things are looking good now. I'm gonna tear this ship apart. Wrong way. Nope, wait, is that it? No, that was not it. Pretty over there. Oh, I gotta raise the anchor. That's what it is. Because we're trying to get it to unzip the ship.
Okay, then try to activate the levers, to use the levers from there, and we'll see if we can...
Glottis, cover your
What?
ears.
Just say it
What
again.
happened?
Yeah, there's something here, because there's... I like Glottis' head falling by unzipping. There we go.
What was that?
The dotted line, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any hint for this puzzle.
No. Or he's saying the issue with this puzzle is that it's very mechanical and it's not clear what you're trying to achieve until you actually do it.
That's right. Yeah, so it's not a great one. I still like the puzzle. It could have been better placed in the game, though. There's a difference between puzzle being good and, like, you know, placement. But anyway, yeah, so I talked about walk boxes. So if I was able to show the walk boxes, Glottis kind of makes it like a void, so you can't walk through him. You kind of walk around him. And what I'm seeing here is that there was a pinch point because Glottis's box extends down this way, and it's a very narrow place where Manny could walk, and he probably couldn't fit through there, and so the engine is struggling with that. But why it would be, I mean, I don't know. You could try the original, but I think the original is just going to use the original renderer. I don't think it's going to change the game logic, so I think that would happen.
Let's try to use the levers. Let's see what happens.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, he's stuck. He's stuck.
Oh my
there.
god! And they actually added the bug to the original as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, so it might not be in the original. It might be in the original, but I think this is pretty egregious. Like, anybody seeing this is like, this is not a C bug. This is a B bug. It's obviously a bug, even to people who don't know the game. So, all right, but Manny's, we're getting the hell out of here. Oh, is that what I was trying to do? I had no idea. Nice.
So Ori's asking if it's because of the mouse controls, and I think that it is, because otherwise you should have walked to that position before you could actually use the levers.
You know, that's a really good thought. That might be it. And there's a lot of, I mean, I talk about like things that gave us fits that you'd never know. So one of them is like Manny taking out his scythe at any given point in the game and being able to walk around with it sucks. Because his scythe would poke through walls and other characters and things, and it was kind of a mess. So what we did is, when he takes out his scythe, Manny's radius is bigger. So what we do is
Manny, choking!
Oh, the lighting's great. Look at that.
Snap out of it, sailor. Easy for you to say. You don't have lungs. Hey, you live without your heart once, so you can live without air for a little while. Just until I figure out what we're gonna do.
Tony Plano's so good. Yeah, so when Manny takes out his scythe, the boxes shrink, and that way he can't move to places where his scythe can stick through the wall because he's offset by that amount.
I think that because of the mouse control, you need to have pathfinding, which was not part of the gameplay, and probably since Glottis was standing there, and like you said, the walk box was huge, maybe the pathfinding algorithm didn't work, so Manny used the levers where. At the same location he stood.
Yeah, the game did have pathfinding, but it wasn't for Manny. It was never, so that's definitely a part of the mouse control or mouse. Yeah, the pointer controls. The original
never had it for Manny.
We did have pathfinding because characters need to be able to tell other characters to walk, even if Manny's under control. That cigarette underwater with the light, that's awesome. I love that. All right, so let's see. Because I know this game, it's the Pearl.
Beware, brave captain! Here
I love
in the
this scene.
darkest depths of the Sea of Lament dwell the most horrible monsters of all. The fearsome, murky demons of the deep will swallow you whole the instant you leave this pool of light. Heed my warning, or take one step forward and learn for yourself!
All right, I believe you. Just quit it with the creepy spirit of the land voice, huh?
Yeah. Glottis suddenly the sage.
Here comes one now!
Chipito!
No.
Alright. Oh. Missed my chance to talk to him. He's gonna come around again. Alright.
Okay, that might not have been a sea monster, but it was pretty spooky.
Look, I'm using mouse controls. I went to tank controls instinctively as I was sitting here. All right. So I happen to love the view that you get of the monsters if you do try and walk out.
The Pearl.
Let's see.
According to our map, I think that's the Pearl.
Let's look. Can I walk out there? There's this view you get of the actual sea monsters, and I really want to see it because it was so cool. We had this notion. There's a lot of stuff in Day of the Dead that I think was underutilized. One of them was the cats are beautiful. Like Sand Spoof is just beautiful, and this notion of sort of decorated animals, really heavy in Day of the Dead imagery that we didn't do very much in the game, as much as I'd like. But in Coco, they went to town on it. Like if you look at the movie Coco at Pixar, they went to town with like the sort of spirit creatures and the sort of elaborate.
You all right?
I'm a spirit of the land, Manny, not of the sea.
Hang in there, mano.
Let's see, got our light.
Oh, Lola. Looks like I let you down again.
All right, Lola the boat. Yeah, named after Lola. Oh, get him, Glottis.
Amigo. Hey, I'm talking to you.
All right, I gotta tell Glottis to do it, I think. If I recall correctly, I was gonna pick him up.
Not blue yet.
I love how Glottis watches you.
You all right?
I'm a spirit of the land, Manny, not of the sea.
Hang in there, mano.
There was some way to tell Glottis to grab the lamp. And I'm uncertain in this UI how that would work. See, I don't have any inventory, so there's not much I can do. Again, funnel puzzle, right? Like, you have to solve this puzzle to progress, so it's easy to get frustrated. Not a great thing. But, again, for dramatic purposes, to transition to year 3, do it. Pick up?
I'd definitely go over there first chance I get, but there's a lot of dark water between here and there.
I really want to see it. There's a thing where, like, oh, I guess it's when you have the lamp. When you actually have Geppetto's lamp, then he shines in the dark and you see the monsters squinting at the light. Okay, how do we do it? Because it didn't give me the option to... Oh, maybe I can grab Geppetto's... Here comes. Oh, shit!
What are you trying to do?
I was trying to click on his lamp and grab his lamp. If I remember correctly, and maybe this is putting me the wrong direction, I think I couldn't stop him, but I could have Glottis pick him up by the lamp and carry him around, but I can't even talk to him right now, so...
Here he is in the background.
Yeah, but I can't do anything with him right now. Anyway, it's funny, those decorated Day of the Dead spirit animal things, I had, like, growing up an elephant. It came from somewhere, probably from India. It was covered in, like, little bits of mirror and kind of mosaic, and it always just reminded me of that. I love that imagery. I wish we'd done it more. And I love Sand Spoof, like, just, Also, the kitty racing I should mention, so, you know how you can listen at the track and there's, like, this endless commentary on kitty races?
Mm-hmm.
They solicited from the whole company, like, hey, everybody, we're looking for the names of these giant cats that race around this racetrack. So, like, think of racehorse names for cats. And, like, they had this whole thing. And so, like, we got, 150 submissions from all over the company. People coming up with cat names, and then you use them. And what's funny about that is that you could just imagine that it was just on a loop or whatever, but it's actually, Chris Purvis wrote this, is one of the scripters. The kitty races are actually simulated.
Okay, let me click on him.
Híjole, he looks like he's been down here a long time. Amigo.
Huh?
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Oh, geez, another shipwreck. You see? That's why I never travel by boat.
Okay, let me finish what I was saying. So Chris Purvis actually simulated the cat races in the background. So there's actually, like, there's a little script, even though it's not visual. The name, like, if you listen to the races, they actually kind of have a little bit of consistency in them because he simulates a cat race. Which, it was Chris's first time. By the way, Chris Purvis, he was originally in the QA department. This is the first game he learned to program, and he came up and worked on the game team and became a scripter on Grim Fandango. And he did all kinds of fun little scripts like this that you never would have planned your engine to be used that way, but he comes up with really creative stuff. All right, let's see.
Hey, or he's right. Manny's looking at the wrong thing. And he's looking at Glottis instead of...
Well, yeah, he's... Yeah, I don't want to let him go, but let's see. Is everything okay with your eyebrows? Oh, he's got the barnacle eyebrows. I remember that.
Is everything okay with your eyebrows?
Them is barnacles, genius. I don't move fast enough to shake them, so they tend to pile up. I don't mind, though. They're the only company I got. Ain't you, boys?
What are you doing down here?
Trying to get out of the land of the dead, same as everybody else.
Why are you walking instead of taking a ship?
Got sick of waiting around Rubicava for a boat. Figured I'd make better time this way.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. How do you know where you're going? I follow
How do you
the
know
moon,
where you're
of
going?
course.
See the moon over there? I just keep it on my right. That way I know I'm heading in a straight line.
But
Oldest trick in the book.
shouldn't you have hit dry land by now?
I'm trying to cross a big ocean here, Sonny. What do you know about it?
I've already done it. In a boat.
A boat? Don't talk to me about boats.
What's the problem with boats?
Under a big sunken boat.
nice boat. Why is everybody always talking about boats? You got a perfectly good pair of legs. Why not use them, I say?
By the way, like, one of the big conflicts in the team is that Tim wanted to write all the dialogue. So, like, there's 8,000 lines of dialogue in the game, more than that, and Tim was pretty adamant that, like, scriptures don't write the dialogue or the jokes or the story. There's a very big conflict of the team because Chuck and Chris had come from Curse of Monkey Island, where they were making up jokes and, like, you know, adding jokes as they're going and writing dialogue, and so it was a big conflict. But I gotta say, Tim did a great job, and you've seen it. If you're watching the Double Fine documentaries, Tim gets kind of wound up around this particular point. But I think that was.
Did you watch Psychodyssey?
I did. It's painful, very painful.
Let me guess. You died in a boat
Yeah,
wreck.
that was.
A boat wreck would have been better
was
than
brutal,
what
and
happened
I know
to
some of
us.
the people involved,
Led off
I
course
know
by bad
in,
equipment, lost for weeks, no food, no shelter from the sun. We'd started throwing the dead overboard, but then the sharks began following the boat.
What happened in the end?
What happened was, I learned 3 valuable lessons. Stay away from boats. When it comes to navigation, trust only the moon and the stars. And when there's only 2 of you left, never, ever go to sleep.
Pretty brutal.
Psychodyssey.
I know people who worked at Double Fine for a decade. They weren't necessarily in Psychodyssey, or they were visible in some early scenes and they were gone. And companies go through shakeups and they growing pains and things like that. But it was painful because some of the issues that I saw there are the same, personalities or dynamics, and it's hard to watch because game development is a very passionate process. People pour a lot of themselves into it and they get very attached to the game or the people or the team, and then when something happens to dislodge them, it's very tragic. So,
I watched Psychodyssey 3 times.
3 times? That's a lot of time.
And the 3rd time, I tried looking for things in the background. So first of all, I found that there was a scene when someone was leaving, and in the background, they filmed someone crying, but behind her, there was a tape that said Grim Fandango. So I remember taking a screenshot of that frame and tweeting about it and asking Tim what was on that tape. And he told me that it had all of the Grim Fandango cutscenes, I think, for conventions and such. And in another episode, we saw the inside of Team's room, which we usually see, but it was from a different angle, and you could see that Team has the Hebrew version of Day of the Tentacle. He has the big box.
What? The triangle box? Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved the triangle boxes. Yeah.
No, not the triangle box, the big box. The Hebrew version had only the big box.
Yeah.
So he had the big box of the Hebrew version. And it was interesting. I asked him how he got it, because it's pretty rare nowadays. And he told me that when the game came out, he got a copy of each one of the translated boxes.
So everybody on the team got 2 copies of the game, and then you could buy them at a discount from the company store. But the Project League got, a lot more, and a copy of it in every language and every edition.
Right, so you didn't even get a copy for free. You had to buy it.
I got 2
on sale.
Well, I might have got. I think everybody got 2. I think I got 8.
What?
I still have 1 here. Let me pull it down. So I have. This is the The funny thing is, I didn't know this game would be a hit or anybody would play it. I just like gave it away to friends and relatives. Like, hey, look at this thing I made. I want you to play it. And so I didn't keep a lot of them.
It was interesting because with the OBS layout, it looked like you were going to the border of the game.
Yeah.
And
No, so I've got my 1 copy shrink wrap to the game here, and it's not even the foil copy that has our signatures on it. This is one of the shitty ones. So,
wait, so it's still sealed?
yeah, it's in shrink wrap, but it's not the special. There was a special version, like there were 1,000 of them or something like that had Tim and Peter and mine, and I think Eric's signatures on them in like a purple foil, like they printed it on there. And it's not that version, so I call this the shitty version because it's not the special one. But yeah. Oh, I've got some other things here too. So let me pull this down so people can see. They can't see through the green screen, but this is we showed Grim Fandango at E3, and this is the Grim Fandango sneak peek. Oh well, my background.
You can cancel. You can remove the green screen if you want to show it.
Yeah, let me do that. Quick. Choose virtual background. None. There we go. Okay, so this is this sign. It says Grim Fandango sneaky peek, and this was the first time Grim Fandango was ever shown, kind of in public, was at E3 in a special suite. So this is the thing over the door. Grim Fandango sneaky peek. And,
so now we can show us the big box. Show the big box again.
Okay, so then this is... I knocked it down.
You LucasArts guys always have the coolest things in the background.
I have a few things. So this is my, sealed copy, box copy. But the version I'm thinking of has like our signatures kind of on the front. We all signed the box and they kind of picked it up somehow and made it printed again. So if you ever want to impersonate my signature at the bank, you just have to find a copy of the game. I've got my little Manny toy.
Wow.
Which is
so Gunther says that he has the signed Grim Fandango box with the Manny doll. So
there you go. He's special. He got the right one. Hold on to that one because that's I don't know how much valuable it is, but I know there's fewer of those.
What's that PlayStation thingy?
I got a couple things here. This is you stay at PlayStation for 10 years, you get one of these things.
Wow.
You stay at PlayStation for 15 years, you get one of these things.
Yeah, you see, in the 10 years thingy, you have the standard font. They're using Arial, but in the 15 years one, they use the fancy font.
Oh, I see. Because you're 15 years, you deserve a nicer font.
Yeah, they can actually pay for better font.
What else do I got up here? So these are we had some Day of the Dead stuff that we just used as props to kind of inspire us. So this is one of the things I always had. This is from a Day of the Dead, like a festival near us. Nice that.
Wow.
Like a few of the characters. And then,
wait, so this is also 25 years old? I mean, even more?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were on my desk when we were making the game. What else do I got up here? I don't know. The rest of the stuff is all PlayStation stuff, so it's not as maybe interesting to this audience, but yeah. And I got a Brutal Legend statue. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't even know how I got that. I think Tim gave me that, but yeah, this is superior quality. I don't know who they paid to do this, but it's freaking amazing.
It is.
I love that one. Yeah, it's got all the skulls down there. Really looks like he's flying. It's great. Good stuff. Oh. So it's funny because this little Manny doll we're talking about here, this little toy.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's a very cheap ass reskin of Archie McPhee. So the Archie McPhee store is nearby, and they sold like just a normal skeleton, and so we had like, oh, can you do one that's in these colors? And they did it, but it's that's why the skull doesn't look very much like Manny. It's just the generic skull. But honestly, if they just had the three, the Adidas logo on the top, it would have been good. All right, back to the game. Oh,
back to the game. Let's flip you horizontally and get you over here. Now you can add your green background.
Yep. Green background. And then Swap. Hey, I did it the first time. All right.
Wait, just a second. Just a sec. Give me control. Because I think... Okay.
All right. I was moving it for a second there.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. Got to resize me back.
Wait.
Hard enough to coordinate all this stuff. I can't imagine also running OBS at the same time.
Yep.
I'm impressed.
Now the background is okay. You moved your camera because you...
Oh, did I? Okay.
You flipped it, tilted it, so that we'll be able to see the...
How's that?
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're back in business. That's fun.
Okay. And I'm back in control. Great. Okay. Let's get the game moving here. Oh, I thought I clicked it.
We've had a little accident. Think you could help us out?
Depends on what kind of help you're looking for.
Could we borrow that light for a second?
Sorry, I'm kind of attached to it.
Could you take us to the Pearl?
Ha! You don't believe those old stories, do you? You think somewhere in this ocean there's a gigantic pearl that shines so brightly it can be seen from passing ships? And that sometimes sailors so allured by its luster actually fling themselves overboard to dive for it and are never heard from again?
Yeah, and I think it's right over...
Bah! I've been walking this ocean for years. I ain't never seen it.
You know what? I just remembered Chipito's voice, the same guy who was doing Yosemite Sam at the time.
Wow.
So yeah, if you listen and imagine it's Yosemite Sam saying this stuff, you can hear it. You can hear it's the same dude.
LucasArts always had the best voice actors. They had
No, really. The
Lucasfilm
Pearl's right
budgets
over there.
for voice
You
actors.
Poor sucker, that's the moon! Tell me you didn't come all this way out here to pearl dive the moon.
There you go. You can definitely hear Yosemite Sam in that.
Could you send for help?
Oh, sure. I promise to call for help at the next phone booth to walk by.
Could we tag along with you?
Well, it's a long walk you're talking about.
We don't have any other choice.
Oh, all right then. Lift those knees, stick close to my light, and try to sing in key. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Scare away sea monsters, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Scare away sea monsters, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Scare away sea monsters, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine.
I thought, so this is really cute.
I'm
I'm
not
gonna turn his
gonna
voice
let
down
you
a little bit more. Hang on a second here. Options. Take care of it. Voice and movie volume. Okay, let's move it down. Not that I don't love hearing them, but it's really loud. Turn.
No, I'm gonna let
There we go.
it shine.
Yeah, I was talking about the sound department earlier being kind of an enclave of their own. And the game library for doing sound and music was all kind of their creation. I had to kind of just drop it in as a black box called iMuse. And oh, where are they? Come on, guys. There we go. Bob's feet doing a little sliding there. Not happy about that.
I thought that looked like our ship.
That's just a trick the ocean plays
Annie,
on your
are you
mind,
okay
kid.
for a bit?
Makes everything look the same after a while, like you was going in circles.
Well, this isn't the kind of progress I was hoping for.
Oh, well, the wet march of the soul ain't for everybody.
Where'd you get the coral?
Edge of the world, boy. That's the only
baby.
place it grows.
How long have you been down here?
Well, let me put it this way. I wasn't always this color.
So Annie Lennis is asking, did the actors record their dialogues together or separately?
Well, I found this coral.
Yeah, I
Probably
mentioned this in the
separately.
interview.
Dark coral.
No.
Damn, this
Well,
thing
this
glows
guy
like a
maybe.
lightning bug, never seems to wear out.
I had some of that once.
So let me-
Made a nice grappling hook.
I don't think you had what I got, because I don't think you've been to the place where I got it.
Well, I don't want to break your stride there.
Okay, see you around.
Watch out for sea monsters.
Who? These guys?
There we go. There's the line. That! Why don't we see more of those guys in the game? I love those guys.
Oh, they don't mess with old Chipito. I'm too
I love
bright for
Manny
it.
recoiling in horror.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine.
Okay, so I think that's the point where I have to have him grab it. I was going to show you, since people were talking about the voice acting. So there was, let's see, director's commentary. Okay, so this dialogue transcript, this thing.
Mhm.
I worked really, really hard and wrote the world's worst Perl code to extract all the game dialogue for the voice actors.
Mhm.
And in previous games, when they extracted it, it was just like it was a list of lines, and like maybe it would have a little like sarcastic, like a direction for the voice actor with it. I went really hard. My brother's a screenwriter at the time, and he showed me like, oh, we use this special final draft thing that outputs things in the industry standard script format that everybody's used to seeing. And so I actually had the Perl script output scripts. And then I did a little grid of like for every character in the game, how many scenes they have with other characters. And then I generated I gave that to Dara, who was the person running the voice production, and said, schedule these people together. And he did. He actually got them in the studio together when they had lines together. And that's very, very different from a lot of other LucasArts games. And he was really excited because it meant he got like scenes between, Manny and Gladys, or scenes between Manny and Meche, where the actors are in the studio and they can react to each other. You have to be really, really careful they don't talk over each other, because you have to edit it so that they're not, they're crisp lines. But it meant that they could react to each other and get a real performance out of them. Whereas otherwise, it's kind of like a game of telephone. We're extracting the lines go to Dara goes to the actor, and he says, say it this way. So yeah, we were able to print out, like when the actor arrived at the studio, they got, here's a printout of your script. So that's part of why the voice acting in this game, I think, is superior, and it's one of those things that I'm really proud of. So thanks for asking about that. Yes, these actors were mostly together. I wish I had the grid to say who was together and when, and because a lot of the voice actors do multiple characters. But yeah, and so this dialogue transcript worked the same way. It's kind of exporting it as a script. I think in the original game, I don't know if you do it in the remaster, but in the original game, it would actually save it as a file on your disk. It's just an HTML file. You can open the HTML file, and I made it look like a script, and that was actually what I printed out for the actors.
Yeah, and Ori's saying that the HTML had different colors for speakers.
Correct. Yeah.
And AT Machine is saying, so you're responsible for why the voice acting in this game is so good. Right.
Everybody's responsible for the game adding up. So that's one of the things I added. But they had great dialogue, they had great actors, a lot of different things. Okay, let us get it.
Let it shine, let it shine.
Get it, come on, click.
Under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it
Click.
shine.
Ah,
Hide it under
damn it.
some
Didn't
seaweed.
get it.
No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm
Talk to
gonna let it
Gladys.
shine. Let it shine.
You all right?
Scare away sea monsters.
Hang in there, mano.
I was gonna say, so this iMuse library, the sound library, there's like 5 channels, I think, so that characters, when they start talking, some of the other characters stop talking because they have to only mix a few channels at a time. But that scene when they were all walking around the back, are you gonna grab him for me?
I am.
I think I need you to grab him for me because there's too much lag. So that scene when they were all singing the song and they were kind of offset, it has a sort of rough charm to it, but we wanted them to sing in unison, but the iMuse engine I think couldn't handle it when we were kicking off that many streams. So anyway,
Well, it's better that they don't sing in unison.
yeah, I think that's part of the charm. I mean, you got to imagine we're trying to tell the story through all these obstacles, and you use what you have. So
For all these technical obstacles.
yeah.
Like I said in our conversation, at least the technical limitations of the time didn't affect the plot like it did in Escape from Monkey Island.
Right, and that's when I worked on that game, but that's when I didn't play. I probably should at some point, because I kind of fell off Monkey after Curse.
What? More survivors? I just passed. Well, okay. This little light of mine,
Get him!
I'm gonna let it shine.
Get it!
This little light
Let
of
us get it.
Yes.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Not picking that up.
This little light of mine. Hey,
What happened? Why did he...
let go. Let go.
Okay, this is very difficult to do, by the way. Two characters interacting physically and looking like
What
they're
am I supposed to do with
attached.
this?
Follow me.
Where are you taking me?
Nice. Like I said, once you meet Manny, he just messes up your whole
Danny,
stick.
is that?
Yeah, I think Kyle told me in my conversation with him how difficult it was to have Boo hug Sully in Monsters Incorporated because...
Shh, something's happening.
Danny, what's going on?
Yeah, because they're separate characters. I mean, you have to animate them. I love the color changing here. Pete's sake, was really disappointed we couldn't animate the octopus outside the cutscene. Love that though. Octopus is so great, and his eyes go up into the portals.
But I don't like the way that thing's looking at us.
Right, so he's watching.
So Adam to Back is asking, do you know if the actors in the German localization had also the possibility to act together in some scenes? Did your directive pass on to the other localizations as well?
I don't think so, because the internationalization was literally like, here's a bunch of files and the German version of them. They might, however, have had the English versions to refer to, and therefore they're not just going based on the text. They're going on the English recording, and therefore they can imitate the performance. I think.
So that makes
if you
sense.
haven't interviewed Darrow Farrell or Chris Brown, they would be great interview subjects to talk all about voice production, which is a whole other discussion.
Noted.
Really interesting in all of itself. Chris was at the little party that Tim threw in, where Peter did that performance last month. It was great to see her. But she's done voice production on, she was early on all the LucasArts stuff, and then formed her own production company, and she's worked on all the Double Fine games, all the Telltale stuff, I think. All right, come over here, Chipito. You're gonna get your barnacle stuck. Let's see. Do we just walk over here, maybe?
Did you turn down the volume on your mic?
Famous as the Pearl is
It might have moved. Is that better?
Old rock
Yeah.
of legend.
Okay. Hey, Chipito, come over here. Over there. Oh, I think I have to. If I remember right. Over here. I'm gonna make
Watch
him
those
go past
hands,
it.
clams.
Yeah, that's the hint. And talk to Glottis. If I do anything with him, I want to walk over there. Yeah, let me get him over there. Oh, do I do it? Does this part right click on this now? No.
Hey, Chipito, go for a swim, will you? You're drawing too much attention to us.
Too bad. I'm sticking to you like the barnacles on my eyebrows, so don't even think of sneaking off with my pearl.
First, I have my inventory again. Oh, that's good. Consists of my scythe. Okay, so that's not. How do I get him stuck? This is well.
When I get that desperate for food, maybe.
That's a great line.
I don't want to get tangled up in those. Not quite as famous as the Pearl is the slimy, barnacle-covered old rock of legend.
Oh, you know what? I think I do use the... Don't I hook him with the scythe or something?
My scythe. I like to keep it next to where my heart used to be.
Yeah, and then I can use that.
AT Machine says, I think you walk through the barnacles and then around the other side of the rock.
Whoa, what's happening? Manny's walking all the way around the entire map to use his scythe. What is this point and click stupidity? Come on! That's not what I want.
My scythe. I like to keep it next to where my heart used to be.
Alright, go back there. Get over there, Manny. Oh, see, now we got the walk box stuck. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So if I put it away...
Now Glottis is walking in circles. What's going on?
He's stuck in a walk box too. So I put it away.
It's because of your scythe.
I thought so, but I'm not able to get back there now. Let's see. Can I go through? No, he's stuck.
Okay, let's call the Double Fine support line.
Yeah.
Let's put him on speaker.
Lazy devs. That's what I always see. Comment forums. Every time you see somebody say lazy devs, just know that a dev actually reads that and hates you.
Hi guys, I'm here with the lead developer of Grim Fandango, and
Going down there while that monkey's
we
looking
encountered a
right at
few issues.
Actually,
like
I'm
a
really impressed that...
We'd like a
everybody
refund.
I'm impressed with everybody else persisting through these problems. Okay, so I thought Manny walking around this was the right thing too. But he doesn't walk around it.
Maybe through it. Maybe use the tank controls.
Oh, there we go. Somehow I did it.
Hey, lay off!
There we go. How would you figure that out? I don't know. Alright, so now that that's done, we can split. There we go.
I think
So
that in
there's
the
the soft launch
remastered
lighting.
they had to deal with the conversion of
Oh, so it's the controls again, point and click to go around
Yeah.
there. If I was tank, I would just walked around.
exactly.
Yeah, I love this. Oh man, the eyes going up in the portals is the best thing ever. Poop poop. Oh, love that. I think Peter animated this one himself.
Look at that purple tentacle.
Yeah, that would have been a good opportunity for some callbacks. I don't think anybody had thought of it at the time.
You guys were working at LucasArts. You should have thought of in-jokes like every other second.
I know, and Tim worked on Day of the Tentacle, right? So you'd think it would be obvious, but you know, honestly, this game, there's a lot fewer of those references and sort of in-jokes in this game, and I think it's partially just because we're under such a pressure to get it done, and nobody had time to do anything other than actually finish the game.
Inilnus tipped $20. Thank you for showing all of that Fandango memorabilia earlier, and for making one of the best adventure games of the 90s.
Aw, thank you very much. How much of that $20 do I get?
How much do you want?
No, I get 0. I do it for love. Just for love. Alright, we're at the edge of the world. Finally into the meat of year 3. I want to go talk to Domino, because he's such a great actor. Ron, Manny. There you go.
Glottis, I'm gonna sneak inside and look for Mitchie.
What if that octopus comes back while you're gone?
Poke him in the eye and steal his sub.
Stupid octopus.
So how do you feel playing this game? Because when I talked to Hal Barwood about Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, then he said that soon after the game came out, he wasn't able to play the game because it looked dated. It even looked dated on the date it was released. But 2 decades later, when he plays it, he enjoys it very much. Like he handles it as if it's a piece of art that wasn't created by him, but by some other person. And so he doesn't have to deal with self-criticism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this game holds up better than some of those others because we were not trying to do 3D environments. So the compromise you had to make to do a full 3D environment in things like Shadows of the Empire and Infernal Machine at the time, they're pretty dramatic. And this game, I think these backgrounds hold up really, really well. I mean, they're kind of just a little mushy because they got upscaled and they had to put these bars on the side because they don't have the art to make it 16 by 9, but I think that they did the right thing in the remaster in terms of, I'm going to use tank controls, turn Manny around. Can you turn off, what's the key to go to the old version? Original render?
Backspace.
There we go. Backspace. To go back in time. So, I mean, if you look at this, like, the background detail holds up pretty well, but when Manny's moving around, like, there's a lot of aliasing there on his markings on his head. So that stuff doesn't hold up very well, especially when it's upscaled like this.
And the gradient on his suit.
And the gradient on his suit, yeah. So there's a lot of compromises for the renderer. Yeah, all those sort of banding you see there. I could go, there's a whole podcast about that in there. But, yeah, and so if you go back to the modern one, that blends in really well. And so I think that they did the right thing in terms of like preserving the look of the game. The best thing you could probably do was work on the character render. Look how nice and sharp his textures are here. They upscaled all that. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes it hold up pretty well. And I see the bugs in the code, but the look of this game I still very much enjoy. I'm not embarrassed by how it looks at all. I think it looks great.
So Adam Dubeck writes, just brought my daughter to bed while listening to you guys. She first had a hard time falling asleep, but then I sang to her This Little Light of Mine, and she's now sleeping like a rock.
Aww. That's very sweet. I didn't know the song. The song exists outside the game, by the way. It was my first exposure to it. But pick that up.
It's empty.
Yeah, why would I pick that up? Oh, here we go. Big sweeping camera. This is one of the things from the trailer.
I wanted to see how your trip was going, Angel.
This one.
Wow.
I'm very excited about that. You couldn't do that in a 2D game.
You were headed for a trap.
I mean, you could, but you had to draw it frame by frame.
Right. Yeah. Not economically feasible, let's say.
Where's your cell? Or are you just sharing a bunk with the warden?
Ooh, slap that guy. It's a pretty rough assumption, Manny.
Because this is where he belongs. Here.
Domino flies up the steps. Oop,
I knew you'd come around eventually. Right or wrong, Manuel Calavera is always with the winning team, right, Manny?
Actually, now, like Adam says, with generative fill in Photoshop, you can add
yes.
the
rest of them. It'll be interesting. Somebody should do a mod. Somebody probably is working on it. Executive training program.
But the problem will be the cutscenes themselves.
A lot of them are static. I mean, it would only be a problem when the camera moves. Him, I don't need. I love that line. Oop. No. Love that.
Grind you to powder for that,
Cabron.
But for now, let me just show you your new office.
Pow. I love a lot of the
Careful, BB.
Spanish terms are all ad-libbed by Tony Plana, so cabron, things like that. He asked, like during the voice recording session, like, "Hey, can I spice this up a little? Can I use a little bit, more dialect?" Oh, and he's talking, but he's not saying anything. What's going on there? Bug. Manny is he's stuck chattering. This is a bug. Yeah, this is probably the original bug. So characters have what's called the talk drawer, which is what they use when there's no phoneme data for their voice line. So Manny is probably saying watermelon, yeah, over and over. But yeah, that's a bug, and that's probably in the original, and who knows why. And it'll probably be there until I have him talk. Let's see. Oh, he's smoking while he's talking.
I'll bite you, I swear to God!
Please don't bite anyone else, Pugsy. That's why they put us in the cage in the first place.
So, voice of Pugsy is Bobby from King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Or maybe Peggy, I'm not sure which. But we'll listen, we'll have to figure it out. But
why do you want to bite me?
You're the mean new boss.
Mr. Hurley said you were meaner than him.
He said you had a bone saw.
A bone saw.
What are you two doing in this cage?
Making light bulbs.
Look, we're working as hard as we can. Why don't you leave us alone?
You bite me and I'll sue your parents.
Our parents?
An achievement.
We got it.
Hey, don't cry, children. Please, stop crying. Why am I so bad at this? Listen, children, I'm here to help.
There's really not much more room in here.
Your hands are too big to make light bulbs.
Not that kind of help.
My hands are not too big to make light bulbs.
Then why don't you help?
We can't do factory
I'm in the
work.
Maritime
It's amazing.
Union. We can't do factory work.
I don't know what those words mean. It means he doesn't want to help us because he's mean.
I love, I mean, you know, having characters be able to look at each other is a big deal, and not, you know, just kind of look straight ahead. So again, another 3D
I just don't have
thing.
any of those little tiny tools, that's all.
Here, take
yeah?
my hammer.
Remember that.
Wait, so how'd you make the characters look at each other? Did you actually have to point them manually to the exact angle, or you could tell them in the code to look at something?
Just look at. Yeah, I made it real easy because I wanted the scripters to not have to think about it too hard. So for every character, there's a notion of like, what does it mean to look at? So there's like a neck joint. Manny has 3 because he really needs to be.
Manny has 3 because he has to look at the items around him. That's part of the gameplay. But what about the other characters?
They have at least 1. They might have 3. I think you could tag them in the editor to say which joints are the neck joints. Because it had to be, you had to specify it. And when I expose that to the scripts, you just say, actor, so load the costume, and that's how they're going to look. And then you can start saying things like walk to, talk to, look at. And so when I did the look at primitive, I said you can look at a 3D position, you can look at another character, you can look at a named invisible actor, things like that. So
awesome. You thought of everything.
I was trying to make it very cozy, and honestly, a lot of that was inspired by Scum. In the Scum language, it was, you could read Scum, and it doesn't read like a screenplay, but it reads like stage directions. Like actor Manny walk to cage, turn to actor Manny, turn to camera, actor Manny say line, wait for line, actor Manny turn to look at Geppetto run or whatever. It's very readable.
My name is Manny Calavera. What's yours?
Mr. Hurley told us about you. You're the one who tricked Meche. Poor Meche.
Poor Meche.
I didn't trick anybody.
Mr. Hurley said he was supposed to take care of Meche, but you stole her case from him. Is that true?
It's true. Yeah.
Let me see if I can explain this whole thing to you.
No.
You see, I had this job, selling travel packages to immigrant souls. If I sold enough of them, I got to leave the land of the dead. Now, I was in a slump, and I really needed a fat commission, so...
You're a bad man.
Go away, bad man.
Yeah, go away.
Meche's my friend. You can ask her.
She talked about you before.
Every time she says your name, she looks so sad.
I don't know what you did to her, but you're gonna be sorry.
I love that Manny is, like I said, he's kind of a miscreant. He messes up everybody's stuff. Just even to have a line say, to tell children they're bad, and you're glad they're in a cage.
You're two bad little children. I'm glad you're in a cage.
To some extent, that's Tim. Like Tim said, everything's funny if it's mean enough, or nothing's funny, or nothing. That's it.
Then again, it was the 90s.
Nothing's mean if it's funny enough. Or something like, yeah, it's true. It was a lot less sensitive to these things, but that went for the dialogue of the game and also how we treated the team. Like, if it wasn't mean if it was funny, and unless you're the team member who he was mean to.
I mean, Married with Children ended its run a year prior to the release of this game, so...
That's true, yeah.
I'm the one who's gonna take Meche out of here.
What? You can't do that.
Who's gonna take care of us? We'll be all alone.
Back to crying. Aaron Giles is responsible for the text library, by the way. So all the text on screen I used his text library.
I'm here to help you get out of this cage.
You can't do that. We have to stay here and take care of Meche.
She'd be so sad here all alone. Sometimes we hear her crying,
I think this music, if I recall correctly, this is a call back to City of Lost Children, which came out around the same time. We loved all those movies. I can't remember the guy who makes them, but City of Lost Children, there's a lot in common with the design of that movie and the design of Year 3. And I think this musical theme here refers to it. I'm not sure.
I really do want to help.
Then why don't you?
When I'll talk to Peter McConnell, I'll ask him.
My butt's too
Yeah,
big to sit
great
on one of
person
those
to talk
little
to.
perches.
I'm gonna tell Meche you said that word to us.
I told you he was bad.
On second thought,
Because he said
maybe
the
I
word
don't.
butt.
We don't want to either, but we don't have a choice.
Change the render here real quick. So it's interesting to look at the aliasing across their faces in here, and they seem to, I don't know if they had to do anything special for this, but it looks really good. The line and the cage line in front of their face. So the backgrounds are a certain resolution. The Z buffer was rendered out from soft-to-mod, it's the same resolution, so they have to upscale that. As there's a little bit of, I don't know how they handled that. Maybe they used the original. Maybe that's why you still see some aliasing here.
Nah, I think they recreated it because otherwise it would have been pixelated.
Mr. Hurley grew demon ravens with human heads in here.
He said if we ever tried to get away, he'd send the ravens after us.
And let
about
them
the
make
ravens.
nests out of our bones.
You children
pretty
just wait
horrifying.
here and be brave little angelitos, okay?
Okay.
Tink, 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 tink. Oh my god, so good. Anything over here? No. Oh, that's the ashtray, I think. What was that? Whatever it is, I'm gonna yoink it.
Not moving any furniture today.
What? Then why give me the option?
I like my old desk better.
Oh, it's just the desk. I thought it was the thing on the desk. All right. Let's see, so I can go down, head back over here. So I can talk to Domino. I love Domino. He's just such an ass. There's Meche.
Oh, look, it's my Prince Charming. Are you back here just to insult me some more, or do you just want some ice for your head?
Nice. Meche, I didn't mean to leave you. I'm so sorry.
I think we need to talk.
Start talking. You're the salesman.
Damn.
I have a lot of explaining to do.
Save your breath. Domino's explained it all to me already.
What you looking for? The oh, it does show up much better there. It's hard to see what's going on in the new one.
You have a lot of explaining to do.
Me? About what?
Why did you take me out with that champagne bottle?
I told you to stop you from falling into Domino's trap. If you had made it on that ship, then you would have ended up...
Here?
Yes.
So why did you run out of my office?
I felt so embarrassed, and you looked so disappointed in me. I couldn't stand it anymore.
Then what were you doing that whole year I was in Ubacava?
I was lost.
What did you...
I don't want to talk about that year, please.
So there's a lot of, I mean, somewhere Tim released the, or Double Fine released at some point, the list of, the viewing list for the game. There's a lot of movie references, and there's a lot of noir movies on there, and there's sort of femme fatale, and so the notion of Meche as like this pure soul who is corrupted by this, you know, seedy world around her, and like her being sort of, you know, so bitter. I think it really worked, and I think the writing is really good. Does Domino hurt you in any way?
Not as much as I've hurt him. Boy, can that guy take a punch.
Why are you working for Domino?
I do what he asks only to protect the children.
Abusive husband syndrome. The children want to protect the mother. Mother wants to protect the children.
Why are those children locked up in a cage?
With the wings those angelitos have, they're the only things on this island Domino can't control.
Hey, if they can fly, let's set the kids free to go get help.
They can't fly that far, Manny, but they can fly circles around Domino, and they can bite pretty hard.
Okay, I'll lay off the questions.
Great. Now if we could get you to just lay off the cologne.
Hey, I'm a sailor now. We have to wear this stuff. Come on, we're getting out of here.
Trying to steal my commission from Domino again. Manny, don't you ever give up?
See, this I haven't played through at all.
I'm not after any commission. I just want to get us both out of here.
Then why don't you just ask your boss for the day off?
Can't believe you think he's my boss. He's my arch enemy.
I think he's your boss. You think he's my boyfriend. We don't seem to have a good foundation of trust in our relationship, do we?
I'm sorry I implied he was your boyfriend. I do trust you.
Well, I'm not sure I trust you about that, but I'll tell you one thing that would convince me.
Name it.
Give me your gun.
What? What makes you think I have a gun?
You work for the most heavily armed organization in the land of the dead. Don't try to tell me they didn't issue you a gun.
I'll talk about a gun in a minute.
So Adam Tubek wrote a lengthy comment, and I want to read it to you.
Sure.
I know I'm probably late to the party, and somebody surely said it before, but for me, Grim Fandango is the most wonderful piece of entertainment in my life. I'm grateful for the chance to thank someone who worked on it in person. The beautiful, beautiful memories and I got from the game, the wonderful music from Peter McConnell, the writing, the voice acting, and beautiful Art Nouveau art style. Living in Vienna, that hits close to home.
Oh, thank you. So nice. I gotta say, I went 20 years before people started. Until the remaster happened, we never really got feedback. Like, we knew the game's sales, and that's really the only channel we had. And then there'd be like the Grim Fandango Network or these sort of fan sites that would say, but it's like those are self-selecting. But we didn't know, we didn't get a lot of feedback from players until, and I didn't really understand how big a game it was until we announced the remaster at E3. And I was in the room. I knew it was going to happen. I was excited about it. I kept my mouth shut about it. And I got to go to the E3, and I got to get into the actual press conference where we announced it. And it was a full to the rafters event. And when the music started playing and they announced it, the place erupted.
I remember.
This is a stadium full of people. It erupted, and I just sat through a bunch of other really big PlayStation announcements, and it was one of the biggest announcements they made. And the sort of emotional, visceral reaction of that crowd, very game-heavy, game-focused crowd, kind of shocked me. And I think even for all those years in between, I didn't really understand the impact the game had until I saw that sort of emotional, joy that people have when they see the, they just showed the big Peter McConnell, kind of concept art in the background, and they played the stirring music, the main march.
The Peter Chan.
The Peter Chan art, sorry, and the Peter McConnell theme coming up, and people, like I said, they just erupted. Peter and Tim's on stage briefly, and I don't think I understood it. I think that was 20, I don't know, it was now 17, 18.
2014.
Oh, was it 14? Oh, yeah, because I was still at PlayStation. Right, it had to be. Yeah, it was way back. I didn't get it, until then. I thought I made this really cool game, and I was really excited about it, but I always thought it was very niche, because the sales had never, it was always famously like, oh, it didn't sell as well as anybody hoped, and it was the end of adventure games. So yeah, hearing that is a really, really big deal. Thanks for writing that comment. I really appreciate it. Thank you for playing the game. Thank you for finishing the game, hopefully.
I don't work for the most heavily
It seems that a lot of LucasArts people didn't know how popular their games were until much later in life.
I work for it.
We didn't get feedback. The main feedback channel we had, the internet wasn't part of it, and the thing we had was sales numbers. There's no real metric. There wasn't community engagement. There wasn't. There was no internet. I was one of the few people at LucasArts who early on who they ran a modem line to my desk so I could use the internet through a modem. So we're doing it in this vacuum. You don't get a lot of feedback, which is part of why the puzzles are so hard, because it's really hard to you didn't have beta channels and things like that. Let's see, I gotta move this so she screws up her stocking.
But nowadays you get too much feedback.
Now you get too much, because everybody's a critic and everybody thinks they know how to make games, and why didn't they just? And they have no idea how hard it is to why didn't they just? Okay, so that... Can I pick that up now?
So I talked about it with Bill Tillerin last week. The fact that he saw the impact that Curse of Monkey Island had 20 years later, when the kids, the people who were kids at the time, grew up to be artists, and now he sees their work and how much it is inspired by his work.
It's funny, I had a very similar experience because we are allegedly, Grim Fandango killed the adventure game genre. Just, like I said, late entry and the sales. It was an expensive game. It was over budget. It was 3-year production. It was a really big game for the time. And if it doesn't make its money back, everybody's like, well, if you make a game that good and it doesn't make a sales, then there's no point. And so that, I'm sure there are a lot of adventure games that killed in the crib by that reception and that perception. But what I will say is the adventure games, most of the time I was at PlayStation, there were not a lot of adventure games out there. But I was at E3 one year, because I went to E3 most years to help present in the booth, and that was just when PlayStation was really starting to get on indies and understand that there was a groundswell of creators and their appetite for it. PlayStation before that had been like, well, we're the AAA platform, and it took a lot to get the company to kind of understand that they should support and invest in indies, even though they were maybe more expensive to support them because you had to put more into it and help them market and all these things. But I was at the show, and there were two people showing their game in just a little corner of the booth. It was called Night at the... you're gonna know it. I don't remember it. It's the it's an adventure game. It's like this sort of stylized with these cats.
Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods.
Night in the Woods. That's the one. Night in the Woods. And I started playing, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is an adventure. This is so great." And I was talking to them. I was like, I'm so glad you're actually making an adventure game for PlayStation. This is so great. And I said, I made this game called Grim Fandango, and they lost their shit. And they told me that Grim Fandango is one of their inspirations and why they were making adventure games. And it's like to have that, this is what, a decade and a half after the game when these people grew up, and they were very young. They're in early 20s. And this is the first thing they did. It's like they said, we want to make games like that. We want to make an adventure game. So you start to see the impact, and it kind of goes out, and again, like Bill saying, the artists were inspired by Chris McCallan, or design was Grim Fandango, or whatever. It is something that I think there was, the long dark tea time of adventure games, whatever you want to call it, where it was all kind of underground, and people were thinking about them, or remembering them, or loving them, but there weren't a lot in the market because there was not a proven market for them, even though there was a proven love for them that was starting to emerge on the internet. So. Anyway.
Man, that ashtray's so fancy you could eat caviar out of it.
Once you got used to the sooty aftertaste, you'd feel like a king.
She didn't insult him on that one. So yeah, let's see. I remember. So I said I haven't played through this, but I do remember this is the scene where I have to try and get her stockings. For a reason I can't remember, I have to get her to accidentally put the ashes on her legs so that the stockings are burned. Why doesn't Manny just do it with his cigarette? I don't know. And then she takes them off and gives it to me. That's that cutscene, that famous cutscene. For taking off the thing. Oh, Manny's going, ooh, hot stuff. Yeah, let's see.
Sir, do you have an appointment?
I'm going in there to tell Domino my demands.
I don't think you fully understand the chain of command around here. Pugsy and BB work for you. You and I work for Domino, who works for Hector Le Mans, crime boss of El Maro.
Well, I think it's time for a little corporate restructuring.
Hell yeah. I love Domino's got the headphones on, the sort of the executive. How do you, in the 50s, kind of how is the executives it's got a super hi-fi system. Got a nice cigar. Everybody smoking. Oh, why is the smoke coming out of his head? God damn it! That's somebody else's book.
Call the Double Fine support line. Put them on a speaker.
How dare they?
Domino!
Taking your first coffee break already, Calavera?
We got a score to settle, let's see.
If I ever spoke to my boss Hector that way.
I love that the horns get a sarcastic horn in Domino's music. So good.
You killed my best friend.
The demon? Manny, you can use a demon as a driver. Let him carry your messages, let him serve you food. But you can't ever start thinking of them as friends. It's just
demon racism, man. I love this line. Well, I gotta go back to trying to escape. Let's see. Oh, did that not register?
Why don't you just sprout me like you tried at Puerto Zapato?
That wasn't me. That was Hector. He's so unimaginative. Just wants to tie up the loose ends, you know? But I believe, however, that you can be rehabilitated through honest work.
What makes you think I'm gonna work for you?
Well, there's not much to do on this island if you don't work. Take it from me. And think about it. Once I'm gone, it will be just you and Meche alone on this deserted island.
Oh,
don't tell me that
smoking out his head's killing me.
Appeal to you.
I don't plan to be on this island for very long.
Manny,
So-
I have all the guns. I have all the transportation, and I have all the brains. What are you gonna do?
So this is this shout out to Tim for the writing here. So you'll notice I'm following one branch in the dialogue tree, and it feels very seamless, like I'm flowing through it. But if you look at the lines, you have to plan when you're writing this stuff that somebody might pick a different branch of the tree and then come back, and it has to still make sense and have enough context. Tim did a great job here. One thing in the game, I was really worried about bugs in dialogue trees because they were all kind of handwritten in Lua. And sometimes they have animation things in them, and you might end up with Manny stuck talking like we saw or whatever. And I was really worried about the dialogue tree, but Tim wrote most of them, and he did a great job. There's not a lot of dialogue bugs, or maybe it was just really well tested. I don't know, but it's good stuff. It's good dialogue. It's great. But that's a thing that people don't consider. Like when you're writing this stuff, like interactive writing, like you have to be ready for the conversation to veer away and then come back.
Petrified for us alone because of you. By comparison, I'd say I'm keeping her pretty comfortable here in my dungeon. Wouldn't you say?
I think LucasArts games are unmatched in this field because it always felt to me like Sierra games, the dialogue was very, you didn't even know if it was something that you already asked. You had to click on it again to find out that it's something that you already asked. Sometimes they didn't mark the ones that you asked.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, the ones you've asked disappear or get replaced with new context. Or I remember that too. The Sierra games you ask, and even some early early LucasArts adventures, like, oh, I did it again. I've heard that line before. Once you realize the same line's good, you're like, okay, we're done.
yeah, exactly.
Whereas here,
In LucasArts game, you always have the lines that are important stick around so that you'll be able to ask the same thing again and again.
Yep.
Let us pick it up for
But the other ones that are disposable, they go away, right? And so that's again like that's him doing a really job of keeping the hint lines are still available to you. You don't hear them just once.
Are you about to lecture me about the winning attitude again?
No, slave labor, Manny. That's the real ticket to success.
Slave labor. Domino's so evil, he's gonna make a case for slave labor.
You and Hector set up a secret hideout?
This is what I don't understand. Why the light bulbs?
Oh, no, that's just a side benefit. The real purpose is to have a place we can lock up all those old clients of mine. Can't have good people wandering loose in the land of the dead, telling everybody how we stole their double-in tickets, now can we?
I don't think I ever got that part of the plot. I don't think I ever understood the role of the light bulbs in the end of the world.
You didn't. It's a great thing you joined me today.
Tickets?
Okay, how much of this haven't you figured out, Calavera? Capal would route all the good clients to me after he switched over their tickets to a secret holding fund. I'd cover up the paper trail, and we'd make sure that the pigeon jumped overboard at the Pearl.
Oh, see, I never got this bit of the plot.
I knew it. You were getting all the good clients.
I handled them all, except for Mercedes, who you.
I mean, if anybody's watching who hasn't seen that list of like the inspiring movies, Glengarry Glen Ross again, like all the salesman stuff. Like year 1 is Glengarry Glen Ross, year 2 is Casablanca, year 3 is what is it, like Treasure of the Sierra Madre or something like that. One of the ones where there's a mine, and year 4 is kind of more just us. But there's a major inspiration. And this notion of like, oh, you got all the good sales. Who gets all the good leads? Like, that's all Glengarry Glen Ross. And if you haven't watched it, you have to, because it's required.
So it wasn't my fault Meche didn't get a ticket. You stole it.
Well, it's your fault she ended up in the forest instead of coming here right away. But I fixed that.
1 ticket for you, 1 for Hector. How many more do you need?
Oh, Manny. We never touch the
product like their drugs.
Ourselves. We sell a ticket to unfortunate souls, unable to lead moral lives because of the crippling amount of cash they were born into.
Nice. Poor rich people.
But you could just take the tickets and leave today.
This could have been the first episodic game, given the split in 2 years.
Well, I gotta get back to trying to escape.
Hey, you do that, kid. Knock yourself out.
It's hard to say, and I got a lot to say about Telltale and Kevin, because Kevin was my office mate working on this, Kevin Brunner, who founded Telltale. he had this idea of like, television production, episodic, like once you get the sets built, each episode of television is like, yeah, you just have the actors say some lines to each other. So it should be really cheap after that, right? But that investment in that first year, first episode is a lot. You got to build all the characters, assets, animation, everything. I don't think we didn't know we were doing enough to make it episodic. And I mean, the market obviously wasn't there yet for that either, but this is a huge game. And it, we cut a good 25% out of the original design. It was still huge, and it's still really difficult. So, I see the appeal of breaking it up, and maybe today, if we were to release it, you would do it that way. But at the time, the market was just like it's a disc going in a box. It's a one-shot thing, and every time you ask somebody to go to the store and buy it, your funnel shrinks to the number of people who are going to continue to buy, and getting them and reminding them and having the shelf space and things like that. So, physical distribution was always the obstacle. I don't think you could do episodic at all until it was digital distribution. Anyway, I have other things to say about Telltale. Kevin Brunner always says like all he did to found Telltale was go like remake all the tools from Grim.
Wait, do you have to say you have nice things to say about it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know anything. I never worked at Telltale, and I don't know what the hell Kevin did to become such a villain. Obviously, he was a good colleague, and I worked with them, and we had a lot of fun. I think everybody at LucasArts that eventually, you start in art, you start in production, you start in game, you start in programming, and then you eventually get promoted in a position where you're in a management position over other people, and you have no idea how to do it. So I don't know what happened at Telltale. I know a lot of people were super unhappy. I know it became kind of an assembly line, and there's a lot of quashing of dissent, but I don't know how much of that. I know a lot of that is attributed to Kevin, but I don't know the real story. I only know whatever on the internet, and everybody, it's always half a story. So, talk to him anymore.
I've got nothing to say to.
Nothing to say, man.
He seems completely unaware of how close I am to escape.
Let's get out of here. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I had really great friends who worked at Telltale. All LucasArts people worked there at some point. Chuck worked on a bunch of stuff, and Chuck Jordan, Mike Stemley, and Dave Grossman. And they all worked on different things at different times, and the Sam Max stuff. There's some really beloved stuff that came out of there, but I don't know what the internal company culture was like. Yeah, I know that. I don't really know. I know some of them are bitter memories, but I don't know why. It's all kind of abstract to me. I kind of missed all of that because I kind of left the game industry, I guess. All right.
It's empty.
Our type of business doesn't produce a lot of paperwork.
Let's see how we're doing on time here.
Now I know you have to leave at 1 p.m., so we have 5 more minutes.
We got to wrap up pretty quick.
So do one last thing, and we'll switch to the scene with both of us.
Yeah. Let's see if I can go out here. I want to see that one area I haven't gone to yet, so I didn't go over here at all. What is this? Is that the safe? Oh no, that's there. Okay, so that's my office. I don't want to be here. This is the sad place. I guess I can go back down. Oof. Love that sound. And we're about to see the bug that made me cry here. Oh, this is great. Noisy. Too noisy. Bring it back. Alright, maybe this is a good place to wrap up. Yeah.
Save the game.
Oh, there it is! There it is! There it is!
The mural?
The safe case. Yes! So that's the mural. So see that? Okay, there's a whole thing with this mural. So this mural lights up the further through the game you go, and as you solve puzzles or go through critical scenes, it lights up. And Chuck Jordan did this. Nobody asked him, but he just did it one day, and he worked on it, and it was just like, oh, such a great idea. This mural was such an amazing piece of concept art, and if you look at it closely, the mural depicts the entire journey through the game. So there's all these key scenes in there, like there's Sandspoof right in the middle, and over here, like I got the cursor, there's Sandspoof, and there's like the guys at the end, the mariachis around the fountain. And there's the the place in the Ninth Underworld where the train goes, and here's the edge of the world, and there's the sea monsters. So there's like the whole thing, the whole game. There's the spiders, So this is a mural of the whole thing. There's El Morro, and it's such a beautiful piece of art. And I don't know. I think in the original it was bigger on screen, or maybe just my memory of it. But it's such a beautiful piece of art. And there's one super fan who went to the Philippines, and he always did business in the Philippines, and he met these stone carvers that do all these friezes and things, and he paid them to make it. And so he actually has like a stone frieze, Frieze, a stone mural made from this tiny, art. He extracted screenshots or whatever and gave it to them, and the artisan was like, "Yeah, come back in a few months." And he did it, and it's freaking amazing. It's like, something you'd see on the wall in a museum. And I always thought I should try and follow up with him and figure out how he did that and get that for myself. Or if somebody wants to do it for my birthday or really express your love for the game, get me that stone mural, or have another one made in the Philippines.
We'll do a fundraiser and we'll get you one.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was that is the ultimate piece of Grim merch or fan made merch or whatever. It was a one of a kind thing. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm sure it's out there still somewhere. If his personal website's still up, I'll see if I can send you some links to it.
Well, thank you so much, Bret, for joining me today. If you're up for it, you're more than welcome to join me at a later date so we can finally finish this game on stream. I mean, now that we saw our progress on the mural, then we know that we're about halfway there.
No, I think you're 3 is shorter than Rubikava, and I don't know if it's exactly proportional. I think we're close to 3/4, 2/3, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big ass game.
Then share maybe 2 or 3 more live streams, or maybe a couple of longer ones. Yeah. So you're more than welcome. And
I'm not out of stories, and I'm perfectly willing to be ladled with praise from people in the comment stream. That sounds good to me.
And it's always fun talking to you. And hopefully, next time we'll be able to finish the game in one stream. What do you say?
I might have to look up some solutions to do that, because I'm still a little lost. But I think the bigger problem is I keep talking in the middle and not actually progressing.
No, that's the most interesting part. I'm here for the talking part.
Well, that's what I mean. So you're going to get three or four more sessions before we finally get through it. You'll keep
and we still need to switch to the new series of Text Debug, in which we'll solve all of the bugs that we've encountered in this live stream.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to figure out if the I'm sure it's not. If there's some way to get the developer cheat code into the remaster, then I can start showing more details while I'm playing. That would be pretty cool. Like show walk boxes and things.
We'll try to get that. Thank you so much, Bret. And have a lovely weekend. And thank you everyone for joining us. And we'll see you guys on Monday when me and Paul will play pinball.
Is it Android pinball?
No, actually, it was something that we have yet to promote. But back in the day when they worked on Phantasmagoria 2, they had the Addams Family Rec Room. They had a rec room in which they had an Addams Family pinball machine, and they played it constantly. So now there's a game called Pinball FX, from which you can buy DLCs of the classic pinball machines. So I bought the Addams Family DLC, and we'll probably play it together on Monday.
Amazing. I want to buy one of those machines and put it up. You can actually buy a physical machine for Pinball FX where the table is a screen and the background.
But it's not the same as the actual thing.
I know, but it's close, and you can have hundreds of pinball machines. That's amazing. So I've always wanted to do that. So yeah, right after you buy me the tablet from the mural.
I'll buy you the tablet and the pinball machine.
Then you buy me a pinball machine. Fundraising now. Coffee, donations, everybody.
So thank you, Bret. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely weekend.